Alrighty then. What horrible lighting for my hair. Maybe I'll keep my head down like this. All these years later and still worried about my hair. This is actually a review I've recorded 3 times. This is the 3rd time recording the review. It almost seems like a cursed review. Which is very appropriate considering the theme of the film is exorcisms or deliverances. And so you would think that this review would be tight as hell, that I would have gotten it down pat, but you know what? We'll see. I'm going to start off strong and I'm just going to get right into it. Hello, everybody. And also, let me just explain the situation here. Ooh, that's a microphone that doesn't even work, so might as well move it out of frame. Why this new format? For starters, the camera situation that I have going on, not finalized yet. I've got all these ideas planned for things that I want to do to take the reviews in new places that nobody has ever seen before, especially not you, all of my loyal fans, the ones that still watch, of course. I'm not going to count the other 5,200 that did not watch my last 3 reviews. But I'm using currently Google Meets, and I'm screen recording it, and then also getting the audio from my phone now. I first was trying to get the audio via photo booth, which is how I was recording old, funnier, sillier green screen bits a few years back, but I don't know if you guys knew this. It was news to me as of yesterday that photo booth does not offer a green screen feature anymore. So, very sad. And I've now had to resort to going into a Google Meets video call with myself, screen recording it, and getting the audio off my phone. But everything will be honky-dory and professional very soon. Believe me. Anyway, let's get into the film, The Deliverance, Lee Daniels' return to the big screen, or little screen, since it is a Netflix film technically. Although I do believe it had a light theatrical release. It is his first foray into the horror genre, and the tale of the film is as follows. A family living in a new home discovers strange and demonic occurrences. Ooh, very spooky, just in time for Halloween, or it will be in 2 months. And the film is a period piece. Let's also get that out of the way, too. It is set in 2012. Very odd. Just kidding. Not so odd, because it is based on a true story or true events inspired by. And I believe those events took place in 2012. All right. So, not much is made with that. There is a shot of someone's phone with an old iOS software on it. And I think that's about as 2012 as it gets in the film. Let's get into my thoughts on Lee Daniels. I am a fan. I've enjoyed his television series Star and Empire. I love just all of that. I'm a fan of Tyler Perry as well. I've always thought of Lee Daniels as like an elevated Tyler Perry. Not in the sense that they're both black directors, but because they just tend to get some very extreme situations out of whatever stories they're telling. Tyler Perry definitely more so. Just characters end up doing such outrageous things where you're like, huh? And they're just things that you would never see in a normal movie. And so for that, I'm a huge fan of Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels. I see as many of their movies as I can, and as much of their content as I can. So it's very exciting to see Lee take a stab at doing something like this. And I say elevated because his movies just always look way better than anything TP does. I mean, it's not shot on Tyler Perry's lot, not shot at TP Studios. Not that that's a real dig, but you know, you can kind of tell after a certain point when you watch enough Tyler Perry movies, like, oh, this is shot on the same situation here. And it just looks nicer. The performances are usually way more realistic and better as well. But just as much outrageousness as you could ever hope for out of a movie. So if that's not an endorsement, I'm not sure what is. Now let's get into the specifics. The acting, for one, Glenn Close is in this film playing a holier-than-thou hypocritical mother to the lead, Andra Day, who is featured behind me. Andra Day is a single mom who's an alcoholic and a little bit abusive to her children, physically and emotionally, and just all kinds of wacky. But Glenn Close is playing the older version of that, and whiter, of course, and she is now way more spiritual. She's found Jesus, brings all the kids to the church if they go. And Andra Day is not having any of that. She's like, you're a bullshitter. You're just a hypocrite. You were so horrible with me. Who do you think you are judging me now? And Glenn Close in this role I thought was really fantastic. I had never seen her really do anything like this before. And so for that reason, I thought that she was pretty much the star of the show here, a real scene stealer. Impressed me, especially towards the end of the film. She gets to dabble in doing some possession type scenes that I thought were wonderful to watch. I'm sure you could see them on the internet. They alone, I think, make the movie worth watching. Maybe not the movie, but those scenes alone are definitely worth... Oops. Yes, I will stay in the call. Let's get that out of the way. They were great scenes. She was great. Andra Day, I also thought was pretty solid. I thought towards the beginning she had a few line reads that I thought were a little wonky, but I think that was more... maybe the movie getting into the groove of itself, or the writing was bad, or Lee's direction might have been a little poor in that moment, but who knows. Either way, it was a little rocky to start, but then as the movie kept going, she kind of held her own, and then ended up becoming the main star as well, and I thought she was great. She had some really wonderful moments as well as an abusive alcoholic mom, and I thought it was very believable, and even ever so slightly. Now we should get into the vibes. After all, this is a horror film, technically. So does it live up to its spook factor, having been deemed an exorcism/deliverance movie? I'm going to say so-so. There were definitely some moments that I thought were effective, specifically earlier on, I think. And then as it got deeper into classic exorcism type territory with like people climbing on walls and whatnot, it got a little been there, done that, and done worse than the other places where I had seen it. So I'd give those a little meh. But characters that are possessed do some things that I have never seen in possession films, and I thought those were some real standouts. One particularly involving poop that I thought was a real delight to see. And I think my main issue with the film, other than it just being kind of whatever when it really came down to it, was I think just the fact that since it is inspired by a true story, I did look into it just a little bit and found out that there is a possibility that this woman was really just abusing her kids, and then they're just going with this whole possession angle. And I feel like the movie probably would have been better off taking a more ambiguous take, maybe saying something along the lines of like, oh, maybe she was just abusive. Maybe there wasn't a devil involved at all. But I don't think the movie really wanted to take that risk. And for that, I give it a big thumbs down. Well, just that element of it, of course, not the whole movie. I mean, the movie itself is fine. It's really not... I'm trying to figure out what it was that kind of bumped me along the way. I guess it just started to feel so traditional exorcism that it ended up not feeling like anything all that new. And what I really wanted, I almost kind of wanted it to be even more outrageous, because it really isn't all that outrageous at all. It only has its outrageous moments, but I think it could have gone way harder. And I know Lee is capable of going way harder from what I've seen. So disappointing there. Next up, please let's get a Tyler Perry exorcism movie. I think that would be pretty wacky as well. I would love to see that. Well, I guess that's all I have to say about The Deliverance. It's a totally normal movie at the end of the day. It's nothing you have to rush out to see, but if you're in the mood for something spooky and at home, since it's on Netflix, you can watch it very easily. I'd say go for it. Why not? So I will be giving The Deliverance 2.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, thank you.